The Elder Scrolls 6 won't release for a few years yet, but given the popularity of Skyrim, it's no surprise that there's been loads of speculation on what it's going to be about. So here are the 4 most convincing theories about the upcoming game that I've come across. In Skyrim, the player is the Dragonborn, a human with the soul of a dragon. It makes sense that the protagonist of the next game will be equally special. So some have theorized that the next game's protagonist will be a Swordslinger. Swordsingers were an ancient order of Yakudans who could turn their soul into a weapon. Whilst this might not sound as powerful as the Thu'um, the ability to shout that the player has in Skyrim, it's said that it was a powerful swordslinger who caused the continent of Yakuda to sink. Yakuda was the former home of the Red Guards, but a cataclysm, legend tells us the result of an Ansei, a super gifted swordslinger, caused most of it to sink. Personally, I believe that swordsinging is likely to make an appearance in the next game if it is set in Hammerfell, which is the home of Yakuda's descendants. Also, Skyrim did set a precedent for having a protagonist with powerful innate abilities. From a gameplay perspective too, Bethesda will want to spice up the gameplay by adding unique abilities similar to shouting, so sword singing makes sense. If the next game is set in Hammerfell, then it would make sense that Yakuda would be a DLC. The Sunken Continent, probably a bit bigger than Solstheim, would make an interesting experience. It would also fit well with a plot centered around sword singing. Maybe the player will head there to discover some ancient secrets related to the Ansei. I just hope that they don't rehash the Dragonborn DLC questline. It would be cliché if the protagonist were to head to Yakuda to defeat the first Swordsinger, the same way the last Dragonborn had to battle the first Dragonborn, Mirak, in Solstheim. Equally, I'll be disappointed if they rehash the ethos of the Skyrim questline. In Skyrim, you have to acquire the long-lost Dragonren shout in order to defeat Alduin. I could see Bethesda being tempted to have a quest where you go to Yakuda to rediscover an ancient power to help you defeat the antagonist. This isn't necessarily a bad piece of plot development, it just needs to be much more unique. Thirdly, there's a widespread theory that the Elder Scrolls 6 will somehow involve a second Great War. To put this into context, the First Great War took place roughly 25 years prior to Skyrim. This conflict saw the Empire and the Old Merrow Dominion pitted against each other, 2 superpowers who had been in a cold war the previous century. The Dominion, ran by an elite group known as a Thalmor, instigated the conflict in the name of Elven supremacy. The Empire was on the defensive for most of the war, but it managed to fight the Dominion eventually to a stalemate. The legacy of the war is explored in the Elder Scrolls 5, where many Nords are angry at the banning of Talos worship and so form a rebellion led by Ulfric Stormcloak. If this tension between Imperial citizens and the Dominion is not enough evidence, in Skyrim there are loads of hints that there will be a second conflict. Firstly, both Imperial and Thalmor NPCs allude to a future war. General Tullius confesses that he doesn't think the peace will last, whilst the elves literally call the war the first war against the Empire, implying that there will be a second. Moreover, if the next game is set in Hammerfell, which seems likely given the recent tweet from Bethesda, then this simply strengthens the likelihood of the game being set amidst the new conflict. You see, Hammerfell was the province over which the Great War started in the first place. Hammerfell borders on Valenwood, which is a part of the Dominion. Moreover, Hammerfell is an independent country. This makes it more likely to be a target because it's not guaranteed that the Empire will come to her aid. The Elder Scrolls 6 might be set slightly before, during, or even after the Second Great War, but in some form, I believe it will feature in the next game. The final, and admittedly the most far-fetched theory in this video, is that the Nerevarine will make an appearance in the Elder Scrolls 6. For those unaware, the Nerevarine was the protagonist of Morrowind, the third game, which is set 6 years prior to Skyrim. The factor that makes the return of the Nerevarine more likely than any other protagonist in the past is simply the fact that they're immortal. In the course of Morrowind, the Nerevarine is infected with a disease, Corpus disease, which, left uncured, turns you into an immortal zombie thing. However, if it is cured, it simply makes you immortal. Lucky for the Nerevarine, they were cured by Divath Fear, one of the continent's most powerful wizards. In Skyrim, we learn that the Nerevarine headed to Akavir after defeating Dagothur. Akavir is the continent to Tamriel's east. It's mostly unknown to the people of Tamriel, so we have no idea what exactly the Nerevarine is up to. Nonetheless, even though the next Elder Scrolls game might be set hundreds of years after Skyrim, it's entirely possible that the immortal Nerevarine will still be around. Maybe they'll come back from Akavir with allies and knowledge to help defeat the Dominion. To be honest, it seems kind of unlikely given there's no reason for the Nerevarine to do this, but if Bethesda wanted to wow fans, then bringing back the immortal hero would certainly surprise most. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Before I end, I want to give a shout out to Apex Gaming PCs. With the code Avarti you can get 5% off, and they have a new range of gaming laptops out. Just to let you know, I do earn commission from every Avarti associated PC sold. Also, I'll be uploading a bit more over the next few weeks because of the break from university, but don't expect daily uploads again until the summer. Unfortunately, I have exams that I need to study for. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.